What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're taking a look at another Tyler Theory video. Today we're going to be taking a look at my thoughts and theories for the new LEGO Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse minifigure series coming out in September of 2025. This is a little bit of a video which I did want to do a little bit of a deep dive into and sort of theorize who the main characters would be. So I am using evidence that I have found and collected from the LEGO Marvel Minifigure Series 1, the LEGO Marvel Minifigure Series 2, and the Dungeons & Dragons LEGO minifigure series. Just try and see the quality of the figures that we'll be getting, if these characters will have legs or arm printing, whether these characters will have new pieces or not, and whether these characters will be as high quality as they can possibly be, or if LEGO will try and cut corners. So, for my findings of the first LEGO Marvel minifigure series is that there is a total of 2 characters who don't have leg printing in this series, and there is quite a few new pieces with this first series, with the hairpiece for Wanda, the hairpiece for Sam Wilson, the hairpiece for Captain America, or Captain Carter, and the hairpiece for T'Challa Star-Lord, and also the hairpiece for Sylvie, the female Loki. And that's quite a lot of new pieces, not gonna lie, but also quite a lack of leg printing. A couple of characters, in which I mean one, don't have arm printing in this series as well. So moving on to the Marvel Minifigure Series 2. There is only one minifigure in this series who does not have any leg printing, and that is Hawkeye. However, he can be made up by that with his new owl baby piece, which isn't necessary to Hawkeye, but is still interesting that they did give him a new piece in general. Every other minifigure has leg printing, and there is very few minifigures who don't have arm printing, which are Beast from the X-Men sets, and Storm also don't have arm printing, as well as Mr. Knight from Moon Knight, and I think that about covers everyone who does not have arm printing for this series, if not dual molded arms. There is quite a few new hair pieces here, though, with Storm and also Beast and Hawkeye getting new hair pieces, and then Moon Knight getting a new hood piece. Also, Werewolf Dude, forgot his name, Werewolf by Night, he also has a new hair piece. I did forget to mention him. He's one that kind of goes over my head most of the time, because I do forget he's there. I have never seen Werewolf by Night. Then moving on to the Dungeons & Dragons minifigure series, every one of these figures is highly detailed. Pretty much most of the figures in this series have a new piece with them, so I'm not going to count how many there are, because pretty much everyone has one. Everyone has very detailed prints from their arms to their feet, with only one person not getting leg printing in this series, and I couldn't even name them if I wanted to, but one figure does not have leg printing in this series. Continuing on to my actual predictions now that we've got the semantics out the way, I'm going to be naming 12 Spider-Man characters, which I do feel like will be able to get their minifigures in this series. So, for my first pick, I'm obviously going to go with Miles Morales. However, Miles Morales recently came in the newest Spider-Verse set with Spot, Gwen Stacy, and his dad. So I don't want to use the same minifigure for this series. I think they should go with the Leap of Faith version of Miles, which is the most iconic scene from the first movie, which is still talked about and still gives people goosebumps to this day. They did try something very similar with this minifigure in the Daily Bugle set and also the Miles Morales mech, which is a red jacket with some dual molded legs, and I feel like that's cool, but we can have a more Spider-Verse accurate figure for this placement of number 1, and I do hope that they give most characters in this series an unmasked variation. I know they're not going to give everyone in this series an unmasked variation, but it would be nice to get a good few of them, because that's what they've been doing more and more with these new LEGO sets, especially with the Marvel ones, with giving a Captain America an unmasked variation, giving the Spider-People unmasked variations, and also, who is it? Giving the Ninja unmasked variations in Ninjago. For my second pick, I do think it will be Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, even, like, Ghost Spider, whatever you want to call her, whatever name she goes by to you, I think will be in this set, but I feel like they will update her hairpiece from the one that they included with the Spider-Verse set, because a lot of people did complain about the lack of the hairpiece here, and not really happy about which one that they used, so I definitely feel like they will take note and improve it for this minifigure series. However, I feel like they have got a decent minifigure for Gwen Stacy, and they do reuse the same torso print, same leg print every time they make a Ghost Spider figure, so I would be more interested to see a little bit of a color swap, very similar to Hasbro's Marvel Legends minifigure series, where Gwen did have a color swap, palette swap, to be a little bit more blue and purpley to coincide with her universe's watercolor theme. For my third pick, I do think they're going to go with Miguel O'Hara, just an updated Spider-Man 2099 from the one that we got in the sets all those years ago, with some updated arm printing, leg printing, and just a more Spider-Verse accurate sort of mask print and torso print. I do feel like he will get an unmasked variation as well as a masked variation because, you know, it's Miguel O'Hara, everyone thinks he's hot and cool, so, you know, just adding him to the mix would be really nice as well. Continuing on with this line of thinking, my big brain line of thinking, he did get a Fortnite skin, so I feel like he'll be very similar to that. You know who else got a Spider-Man skin? Peter B. Parker. He was a main character in the first and second movie. Unfortunately, I do believe they will go with the second route and make him stand out a little bit more, make him a little bit more iconic compared to how he did appear in the first movie with his like pink dressing gown, maybe even like a child holder for Mayday, and maybe even include a Mayday figure with him as his like accessory. Continuing with the Fortnite route, Hobie Brown, Spider-Punk. If he's not in this minifigure series, I'm going to fucking riot. I'm going to be throwing hands. I'm going to be screaming throughout the halls. Because he is my favorite Spider-Man. Throughout my Spider-Man PS4 playthrough, and throughout my Spider-Man PS5 playthrough, he was my main fucking spider suit that I used. So, he's my fucking favorite. I love him. I have the Hot Toys collectible figure of him. I have both Hasbro Marvel Legends figures of him. So, if he is not in this minifigure series, I'm going to fucking riot. How could they not include him? He is our boy. I do feel like these three figures that I just mentioned will be very similar to the ones in the Fortnite game, the Lego mode, and have some pretty detailed printing on them. However, I am going to make this a little bit clear with the X-Men set that recently came out, the X-Men Mansion. That Gambit and Rogue figure aren't the same as the ones from Fortnite. They have been changed slightly, and I feel like that is pretty unfortunate because they have a lot more quality in the game. Obviously, they don't have to spend money mass producing these figures. They don't have to spend money on printing when they're making these figures in Fortnite. They just have to design it once, and then they can copy it to everybody's account. It's a lot easier to make something online than it is to make it like physically. So I do feel like the Gambit figure who lost arm printing and leg molding, I do feel like we'll have the same problem here with these Spider-Verse figures. Continuing on to my, sixth pick? I feel like we're going to get Miles G. Morales, which is the Dimension 2 variation of Miles. And I hope that we do get a new helmet mold for him, and we don't reuse the Ant-Man helmet or the Star-Lord helmet. I hope we get a new mold for his helmet, because it is just so iconic, and he is a character that I do love. I watched this movie twice in cinemas, and the first time I saw his suit, that shit was fucking incredible. That shit was impeccable. And the second time I saw it, it just affirmed my love for him as a character. So I hope that he is here. Like Hobie Brown, I adore this character, and I have ordered the Marvel Legends figure and also the Hot Toys collectibles figure for this character. So, you know, he's a pretty good character design, so I hope that they don't fuck it up. And I hope that they make a new hair mold for him as well, which will probably go against the rules that I set myself before, not making too many new molds for this series. But I definitely think we do need some more dreads for this series, and he would go hard with a unmasked variation as well as a masked variation. So I'm praying, I can have my fingers crossed that we can get some new molds for Hobie Brown's hair and Miles G. Morales' hair as well. Continuing with the Prowler trend, I think that we'll get the Prowler from the first movie as well, because he is an iconic character from the first movie. Everybody loves him, and Uncle Aaron is just as important to Miles as Ben is to Peter. So I think that he's an important enough character to be introduced with this series and to get his own variation. Again, he's also in Fortnite, so does have a pre-made figure there, which they can use from to base this figure off, and I'm hoping that we do get him because the Prowler is just very iconic. I would like an unmasked variation, but you know what? Keeping him masked also would work for me as well. I wouldn't be too upset if he kept his mask on for this figure. Moving on to the next one, I think we should stick with the Morales family and go with Miles' mum. This is a little bit of a curveball figure, but if we're going to have every other member of the Miles family in this, like, in Lego form, with his dad being in the set, Prowler being in the minifigure series, Miles even being in the minifigure series, obviously, we should have his mum as well, just to finish the family, and I believe she had a pretty vital role in the second movie, telling Miles that he's loved, that he's cared for, that he is important, and to not let anyone take that away from him. So I do feel like she should get a position in this minifigure series. Moving away from, like, the Prowler, Morales family, I feel like we should get some good villains in this series. And you might be questioning, oh, the Kingpin, oh, the Goblin, you know, the Green Goblin, oh, Scorpion. To that I say, no. It would be nice to get these figures, but I feel like that they would work best as big figs in a Spider-Verse set that gets released later this year. I don't think that they would be good in minifigure form. I think they should be reserved for big figs or separate side builds, because the Scorpion has massive legs and the other two are just way bigger than the minifigure format. So I'm hoping that we do get a set with these three characters included, but for this minifigure series, I think Tombstone is a fucking shout, because he is the main, like, henchman for Kingpin in the first movie, and we never have had a Lego Tombstone before, so it would be really cool to have him here, make his appearance, make his first debut in Lego in this minifigure series. Continuing with villains, I think we should move along to the second movie and go along with Spot. But not the Spot from the Lego set. I think we should go with his dark, sort of black hole aesthetic, with his pinks, greens, and whites, with the blackout background. The main villain, the ultimate Spot, which has been built up all the way through the second movie to reach the breaking point in the third movie. I think that version of the Spot would be unique enough to have his own figure in this series and would go incredibly hard. Speaking of Spider People from the second movie, I think Spider-Bite should get her own appearance, with obviously arm printing and leg printing for the coding that she has with her. And I don't think she was a very good character in the second movie, but in the third movie she has joined Gwen's team, so I am hoping that she does stand out a little bit more, gets a little bit more development in the third movie. So I hope she gets included here. And if she does get included, a good little nod to her character from the movie would be to give her quite a few different hair pieces, because she was swapping her hair throughout this movie constantly. That was a big part of her personality. That was a big part of her, like, character. So I hope that they do that. They add that little bit of a subtle nod to her and give her a few extra hair pieces to swap through, and give her a little bit more customization as a minifigure. Sticking with Spider People from the second movie, I think Pravita Pravaka, Spider-Man from Mumbattan, should also make an appearance in this series, with obviously a new hair mold. If not, they can recolor the Hercules one or the J one from Ninjago and Disney respectively. However, I do think he would suit much more appropriately with a new hair mold, because it would just be a lot better. Gonna be honest, it would go hard with a new hair mold. I also think Penny Parker should be included with this one, going back to the first Spider-Man movie. Penny Parker should be included in her second movie style, because she was the only one from the first movie, other than Peter B. Parker and Gwen, to reappear in the second one. She has joined forces with Gwen and will be appearing in the third movie, but I just think her red jacket is really cool. If they don't want to include her in the series, I hope that they do make a set for her, because her set would go incredibly hard, with it being a spider mech that Spider-Man would actually use, instead of these random fucking Spider-Man helicopters, Spider-Man jets, Spider-Man mechs, cars and bikes, which Spider-Man would never use. So a Penny Parker set would go hard and would be greatly appreciated in my book. However, they could use the Penny Parker from the first movie in that set, and there we go. We have both variations of Penny Parker here. Or, if you want to switch it and have the young version in this series and the older one in the set, that's completely fine. Just have Penny Parker in this series. However, what I don't want in this series is Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Ham. Spider-Man Noir did appear in the Fortnite wave of sets, Fortnite wave of figures, sorry, not sets, with Peter B. Parker and also with Hobie Brown. However, his figure that has already been made is pretty much perfect, and I wouldn't want to waste a spot with him. Very similar to Spider-Ham, they've been pushing him for a very long time, so I don't want to waste another spot with him. And with that, that is all 12 characters that I would appreciate in this LEGO minifigure series. There is so many Spider people that got introduced in the second movie, which could be cool and could be interesting to see in LEGO, but I just don't think are very lore relevant that would make them deserve a spot on this list. I think I've made a pretty decent list which will cover characters from both movies that a lot of fans have been wanting for a very long time, that we either haven't seen or deserve an upgrade. Very similar to Gwen and Miles, because again, they're the two main faces of this franchise, so of course they're going to get a spot in this minifigure series. I do know Two Prowlers is a little bit crowded, but both of their designs are very interesting and unique to each individual Prowler. So I do feel like we can get away with having like both in this series. Other than that, I don't really have much else to say. So I hope you all did enjoy this YouTube video. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree with my ideas, whether you disagree with my ideas, if you think I'm being a little too nitpicky with the figures that I'm picking, or if they are too obscure. But I know you guys do like these theory videos. These theory videos are some of my highest viewed videos over the past few months, past few years. So I'm going to try and do more in the future. So if you do want me to do any theory videos on something that you're interested in, do let me know. I do have another one planned for the next couple of days, which will be based around Fortnite and the OG passes, and what I think will be appearing in the OG passes. But for now, I hope you all did enjoy this YouTube video. I'll see you all in the next one. Hope you all have an excellent day, and goodbye. Stay home and stay safe. Whilst I was editing this video, I have recently found out that the Spider-Verse minifigure series has been moved up from September to like June of 2025. So by the time this video comes out, the series might have already been revealed. So it will be interesting to see who actually made it into the series and how right or how wrong that I was with these 12 characters that I chose. So that's exciting. This video, I worked quite hard on this video, I'm going to be honest, so I don't want to waste it. But by the time it comes out, the minifigure series will be out, so whoopsies, my bad, sorry.